Good morning, children. Today I would like to continue chapter number 2, supplementary children at work. Before we read, let us try and understand what is there inside the chapter children at work. Right? So, before we read, there are many reasons why children have to work. Some help their family make a livelihood. Others who run away from unhappy homes need to support themselves. Children who have to work can't go to school and play like other children of their age. See, if you look at small children, those who are working in a hotel or in a restaurant or somewhere else, or you can see some children picking rags. You can also see some children on road. Now they are doing something with puncture wala or in a small tea stall. So they are doing, but the reason for doing work there, you can understand that they have got certain reason, because they have to do that, because they have to help to their family. Actually, they want to help their family. That is why they are working there. As we have been told in this lesson, that children help to make a livelihood for their family. And not only that, there are children who simply just run away from their family because they are not happy at home. They are not having good relations with their parents or the guardians, and they need support. Actually, they want to support themselves. In order to do that, they simply run away from their homes. Now we have a certain category of children who have to work, and if they are working, that means they are not going to school. They are not able to go to school, and when it's time for play, they are not able to play because they are working hard. So they are busy in their school, and they are not able to continue with their studies because they have to support their family. In order to support their family, they are working hard and all that. Now let's try and understand what is there in this chapter, children at work. So Velu, an 11-year-old boy, runs away from his home. Now in this particular lesson, what do we have? That the particular child has left his home, or he has run away from his home, and he is just 11 years old, and his name is Velu, right? Dot number 2 tells us he wanders. Wanders means to move here and there aimlessly. When you are moving without any aim, that means you are simply moving here and there, in order to find out something, in order to search out something. So he wanders around for hours before getting on a train to Chennai without a ticket. So that children actually that wanted to that child value, as because he has run away from his home, so it is not sure what he should do when he left the home. So he simply keeps on walking here and there for hours, and then finally he gets into a train that was scheduled towards Chennai. And when he got into the train, he did not buy a ticket. You see, if you want to travel in a train, you need a ticket, right? So he could not buy a ticket. Most probably he was not having money. That is why he couldn't buy the ticket. That is why he left his home and all that. So, and the dot number 3 tells us he was tired, he was hungry, because he was wandering here and there, and it's because he has run away from his home. So he has got nothing to eat, so he was hungry, and he was not getting rest, so he was tired. And the important thing is that he doesn't know where to go, and when a stranger at a station shouts a word of welcome, then all of a sudden, when he reaches to one of the stations, at the station, when then there he listens to a sound. Somebody was shouting for him, so he simply he was he was surprised to see that somebody was calling, that someone, stranger, one stranger was calling a value, you know. So let's see what happens actually in this story, Children at Work. Okay. So this is all. This is the story of an 11-year boy that is value, and he has run away from his home. Let's see. When the Kanyakumari Express pulled in at Chennai Central, pull in means to stop for a while. So when the train got stopped at Chennai Central station, and it took Velu some time to get off. So Velu was not sure, where to go, what to do, where to get down. He was not sure of anything because he was a runaway child. So he wanted to get down from that train at that station, but then it took some time to get off. Get off means to get down from the train. So when he finally got himself on the platform, he got down there at Chennai Central. Okay. So when he got down, he felt that his legs were shaking, because if you keep on traveling in a train for a longer period of time, when you get down somewhere, you will feel that as if your legs are shivering, your legs are shaking. So this your legs are trying to show oobal. Oobal, do you remember the word oobal? That this word was there in the last second chapter in your class 7th textbook, if you remember. No problem. So his legs were shaking, his legs were shaky. He was not comfortable when he got down at the station at Chennai Central. So this was happening because he felt as if he was still moving in a train. So this is what that happens to everybody, when you are traveling, and once you get down from at a particular station, your legs start shivering. That means you feel as if you are still moving into the train, or you are sitting in a moving train, right? Oi, out of the way, a porter went by a loaded trolley. So it's a platform, so porters are moving. Porters, the coolies at the station, no? So they are moving here and there. They have got their trolleys fully full of luggage and all that. So fully loaded travel trolley they are carrying. So they are shouting to everybody, please get aside. So finally Velu also jumped aside. Finally Velu sat on a bench on the platform, putting his small bundle down. He was carrying a small bundle. We are being told that Velu was also carrying a small bundle with him. So he simply kept his bundle over there, and then he sat on a bench there. In all his 11 years, he had never seen so many people except once a year at the fair in his village. Now, this is happening for the first time with this boy Velu, because he has never seen such so many people all together at a platform, on a particular platform. And the writer says that he had once seen in a fair in his village. Generally in villages, villages are not so crowded actually, and this platform was overcrowded. So this was for the first time that he could see so many people on that platform, and people were just simply walking by. They were bumping into him with their suitcases, since passengers, people means, yeah, passengers, those who were traveling in a train, in that train, they also got down. So when they were moving from there, and he was there, Velu was standing over there, so it was possible that he got some bumping with these suitcases when they were moving nearby Velu. Anyways, he was sitting on a bench and he was having his small bundle over there, and he was watching people going here and there. He could see so many people, all together on that platform, and they were simply moving here and there. So this was all happening for the first time, and he was not able to understand them what actually was going on there. Finally, a voice announced. Somebody was shouting on a loudspeaker. I mean, some announcements were there on the or on that particular platform through a loudspeaker. Loudspeaker that speaks a bit louder. So there were some announcements regarding, most probably, maybe regarding trains, arrival of train and departure of the train, and something lost and found. So announcements were on, and he could see a group of people sitting on the next benches. Most probably he could see some people sitting there over there with their luggages, and they were looking at TV was also there. I mean, hanging TV was there on that platform, so people were busy in watching TV, and the noise was terrible. I mean, as because this was a crowded platform, TV was on, people were shouting, vendors were shouting, porters were shouting. So there was a complete noise, and that noise was terrible. Terrible. That means that you cannot adjust easily. I mean, which was very irritating. I mean, that noise. So Velu put his head down on his knees, feeling miserable and exhausted. Now, just imagine, this boy has run away from his home, and he was having nothing with him. He has got nothing to eat. He was completely tired. Though he has got a small bundle with him, but then he was not having anything to eat, and he was not having money. So his condition was very pathetic. His condition was very miserable. Miserable means, I mean, as if you could feel generosity for someone. And he was completely exhausted. Exhausted means completely tired. So he had run away from his village 2 days ago. Now 2 days have already gone, and for the last 2 days he has taken nothing. He has got nothing to eat. Yes, he was having some peanuts and a piece of jaggery in his bundle. Peanuts, and jaggery, you also know, made of sugarcane juice, jaggery. So this is what he was having at that time in his small bundle. So and he was also carrying a shirt and a towel and a comb. So these are the things which were there in his small bundle. He had walked for most of the first day to Kannur, and then got on the train to Chennai. For the most of the first day to Kannur, and then got on the train to Chennai. So Velu had no money for a ticket, but luckily the ticket collector did not come to the unreserved compartment. Actually, Velu was sitting in an unreserved compartment. So luckily, I mean, he was very fortunate that the ticket collector did not come in that compartment, so he was safe. And he had tried to sleep on the floor near the door, as because he was not having ticket, and there was rush inside the train, so he could not get the seat. So he simply slept on the floor near the door of that compartment, and he could see that a group of people, a group of men were playing cards, and they were shouting, they kept on playing throughout the night, and they were simply shouting while playing. So Velu could see all these things, all these happenings there inside the train when he was in train. Okay. Now all of a sudden somebody shouted, "Hey, what? New to town?" Yeah. Called out a rough voice. All of a sudden he got a rough sound. Somebody was shouting on him and calling him, what actually are you doing over there? So Velu opened his eyes, and there were a lot of people standing around, but nobody was looking at him. So Velu was trying to understand whether he could understand that voice or not. He wanted to identify who may be, but then, as because he was new to that city, he was knowing nobody in that city, so everybody was strangers for him. So he simply opened his eyes, and there were a lot of people standing around, but nobody was looking at him. Again he heard the same voice, here, here, hey. Hey means, it's simply an exclamation, hey. He turned around. He just tried to look at towards that voice, that sound. Behind him, he could see a girl around his own age, and she was also wearing a long banyan, and that came down to her knees, and her hair was stiff and brownish. This is the condition of that girl. You can see the picture there. I mean, in that picture, you can imagine that the girl is wearing a long banyan, right? And that banyan goes down up to her knees, right? And if you look at her hair, no, they have got stiffy and brownish, and that girl had a huge sack on her shoulder. You can see on her back she is carrying a sack means a big bag she was carrying on her back. So she was picking up dirty plastic cups from the floor and stuffing them. Actually, I mean, the writer is trying to tell us that this particular girl was trying to collect the dirty cups and plastic cups, and she was trying to pick them up, and she was trying to stuff them in her sack. That's because she was carrying a sack, so she was simply stuffing those dirty things like plastic cups, plastic bottles, and all in her sack. She was stuffing. Stuffing means keeping in, that time, into her sack. Why is she calling me? Thought Velu. So when she called Velu, I mean that girl called Velu. Velu was surprised. Because he does not know that girl, so he started thinking, why is she calling me, then why is a girl wearing such a banyan and all that. But then he was answerless, because he simply got those questions, and he was not able to understand that. So on the next turn we will try to know who is this girl, and what does she want to say to Velu. So for the day, thank you very much, children. We'll continue the same chapter tomorrow. Thank you.